Okay, just doing a little preliminary work here. Wanting to let you know where I'm at, what I got laid out. If there's something that you want changed that you see I'm getting off track on, I'm just showing you this video to show where we're at. Now, I have 3 systems I'm going to show you. This would be my most complete system. So here I'm showing the future bin here to the south. I'm showing the reclaim drag along the front to bring them all back to the receiving conveyor. I don't have that connected there yet, but you get the idea. Going to an elevator. I'm showing a conveyor, an overhead conveyor, which is 10, 20, 30, 50 foot, reaching from the support tower over to another support tower here with a distributor for conveying all your receiving, all your commodity receiving. In this, I'm showing 6 bins that each hold about 26 tons each. Is just to give you a view of what I'm picturing here. This is the whole corn bin right here, and then your ground corn bin or cracked corn bin, and then your other 5 ingredients for future. We have a loadout spout coming off, so if we look in here, we have this elevator, which will have the grinder under the roller mill underneath here, with a conveyor going straight out, probably a U-trough underneath there going straight to this yellow elevator, which goes up just high enough to dump into that bin. That's the grinding bin, which that wouldn't need to be that big. I'm just showing you what I got together for the biggest part here. We're gonna look at some others designs, so bear with me. This is just the beginning. I wasn't sure on the elevators if some builders want them in a tower no matter what, so I did design it with an 8x8 tower. These elevators are figured at 3,500 bushel an hour elevators with 8-inch spouts. I'm guessing this elevator here could be slightly smaller, but I'm thinking we want to go with like a 33,000 bushel an hour elevator, something like that. I'm going to get in the inside more a little earlier. But a U-trough comes from the mixer out, comes to this elevator. This elevator has a spout going here to where we're going to load out, and that way the trucks can drive through here. They can load out there. I show 2 hopper bins here. They'll each hold about, I forget the tonnage, about 10, but they can easily be adjusted. This is not to say this is what size bin we're using at each spot. This is to show you what I'm picturing. And these bins can be dropped down. With this size structure, this structure is 16 foot by 18 foot. We probably could back this down to where we have 4 bins here and start out with just 2, where they each hold 10 ton or something like that, and or 5 ton. Some small bins we could start with. I kind of want to get a feel for where we're headed in that direction. Like, do we want 10 ton bins up here, or do we want 5 ton, or do we want 15 ton? Just so we're going in the right direction with my design. I can draw that in and figure on what for tanks that would take. This is kind of the idea of what I would picture a finished design being. Like, not everything is exact though. Like, this elevator height might change slightly, might drop a little bit. Tail end of this conveyor might go down some. There's some different minor changes, but this gives you the overall flow of things. And then all of these bins out here, all 7 of these bins would have augers coming in to feed the mixer. I'm going to back it up to the next system. This would be phase 2, I'm going to call it. This would be phase 2, where you have the elevator, which actually I did not put this conveyor on here yet. So we're going to drop this conveyor in here. We're going to drop this into phase 2 because I kind of figured that would be in phase 2. Phase 2 having the elevator here, the conveyors out across the bins. That conveyor there I've messed up a little bit yet. I have it right here, but I had a little glitch in my software. It wasn't listening on me. So, but you get the idea of what I'm putting together. This would be kind of phase 2, where this elevator would hit here. This elevator would also hit this elevator, which would be our mixer emptying elevator. So we could run our whole corn across, dump it into the whole corn bin, or we could actually throw spouts off of here and hit a couple of these bins if we wanted to, if you wanted to receive bulk feed. And I tried to get this lined up so you have the drive through here, the dump pit out here, which we're gonna have to, this is design at this point, this isn't exact measurements, because right here we're gonna have to look at how far out here can we come with concrete and not get in the roadway, because I think we're gonna be right on the edge of the roadway with this at the end of the day. That would be phase 2 with this elevator and just conveying across, because the conveyor going across and the distributor and that'd be a little more money. And we could use this elevator right here to fill maybe not all these bins, but a few of these bins if we needed. You could run quite a long time this way. It's just your mixer can't unload while you're receiving grain or transferring grain. Then we back it down to phase 1. This bin right here is your existing Meridian, and I know you don't have a flat roof bin there, but it was one I had to drop in place. Like I said, it's just this video and drawing is just to get a feel for what we're working with. This would be the bin that goes up this year, and then 3 bins here. Now these might end up being your little bins. If that's what you want, we can put your little bins here. Actually have this ground corn going into one of the little bins, or we can put your little bins out here, 2 of them out here, 1 behind it to feed the mixer. And I ended up, we're going to get to the inside in a minute. I do show the loadout here for phase 1, because I really think getting a loadout bin here, even if it's just 2 10-ton hoppers on it, it would really speed up the feed mixing, because at that point you can mix feed and without having a truck here or anything. You just mix into these bins and get your load somewhat prepared before the truck gets back. So this would be kind of phase 1. This is what I'm picturing now. I did not draw the mill in underneath here yet, which is what I'm going to do. I just want to get an idea of your thoughts on layout before I get too detailed. Before I get too detailed with all my augers and all my spouts, I just want to show you a little bit what I'm doing. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of the inside of the building, what I'm picturing. And we got to move the roof off the building to show you what's inside. So in here I have your mixer almost centered with a U-trough to take the finished feed out. Right here I have 4 hoppers that would be your what I would call hand ad, and I'm just going to show you them a little more. They would have their own scales. They would have their own auger going to the mixer. We're going to just take this and put a copy of this out the side so I can show you a little more details of that hopper, what I'm picturing for that. That would be for your hand ads, and it is 4 hoppers where you could walk up here on a catwalk to dump the minerals or whatever your hand ads are into these hoppers, and then if you had small amounts of other ingredients, like if you occasionally had small amounts of other ingredients, this U-trough underneath here would be on scales. That would be hanging on scales. This little U-troughs, little 6-inch U-troughs, would feed into that big U-trough that would hang on scales. They would weigh into there. That would be our scale. Then in the tail end here, you could have a flip-up door where you could hand add if you had a special mix you were making and needed to add minerals or something odd. You could add it in this scale that's down low. So that's kind of what I figure for hand add ingredients, and this is just what I've done at other places and what I pictured happening here. Now for the liquid, we probably wouldn't want to pour the liquid in here because we don't want to be putting the liquid in the tail and then running it up through like your soybean oil. Your soybean oil would want to be added directly to the mixer, so we may need a little catwalk here at the end and a stairs going up to a catwalk that's maybe 3-4 foot off the ground, and a stairs going up to it, a few steps up to it. That way you can dump your soybean oil in over the end here. This structure right here is that's for holding, which I'll make that a different color just so it's easier to see. That is for holding the augers. That's a structure that when the augers are brought in through, they would be mounted to that. That way you don't have no weight on the mixer because your mixer is on scales. So that's kind of what I'm picturing. I had been picturing like we'd maybe do our bagging over here, but I'm thinking you might be correct on taking one of those 3 little hoppers you mentioned and setting one of them in here, and you could use one of them for bagging out of if you wanted to. You could have your bagging set up in this area if you wanted, and we can move these micro hoppers over to this end also. I just wasn't sure. You had mentioned a door in here, and so if I want to draw that in yet, I can pop a hole in that wall yet. So if we put a door in there, I was thinking we'd come in here straight to add minerals to these hoppers with your forklift, but we can move this over there if you want to do bagging over here. Although if you're going to have a hopper in here for holding the feed that you're going to bag, one of those little hoppers you mentioned might be the ideal thing for that. So this is just to let you know where I'm headed with my design, what I'm picturing at this facility, that eventually get to this place here. That way all commodities can be received however fast we can unload here, and which I think we're talking like a 10K drag here, and then that would mean a 12K elevator. That way we don't run into capacity issues and then 12K drag out across and 12K up there. That way we can receive grain fast, receive commodities fast, whatever we need to in the future. So because in this middle design, which would be like phase 2, we will be limited on commodity receiving speed due to the speed of this elevator right here. We're not going to have more than about a 3,500 push on our elevator here. And actually, as I'm here talking and thinking, we can bring this dump pit over in line, because if the trucks pull up here to dump, they can leave before they pull through there. That they don't, they would have room to be able to turn out and leave. And they probably, I'm not sure, it just depends on how much you receive in the fall, if this will block that you can't get loaded with your other trucks. So long term, having the dump pit out here is probably the best, just for long term. That way in the future you don't ever get jammed up that way. So this is what I'm picturing at this point. So I just putting this out here, that way you can review it, see what you think. I'm picturing having the roller mill underneath this roof over here, and might as well utilize that roof that's there. Then we'll have a short auger that comes off this bin to feed that roller mill, and then we'll have a long auger coming off that bin for whole corn into the mixer, which I believe we can come right in through here. It's going to be a little tight coming in through here. We'll have to make it the right height to fit by the corner of that support tower there, and maybe we'll have the auger coming in through here. Maybe we'll have to put that out up the hopper some on this bin here. I'm gonna have to pull a line on there and see if I can get an auger in through. But I do show the bins closer to the building. I didn't extend the legs yet, but I do show them higher. I think I show these like 4 foot higher, which actually they should go up a little bit more, but they will be out of the way for these augers. It's just that auger there to go in through there should be able to fit in through, but worst case scenario, we may have to come off halfway up the hopper here for our whole corn going into the building. But I'm guessing a big part of the corn goes through the roller mill, and in that case that'll feed out the bottom of the hopper bin. I think that's going to be our best bet. It's either that or we raise this hopper bin up in the air and put the roller mill underneath it. If we want a gravity feed, then we ought to put this bin up in the air, and if we do that, then we might not be able to hit it with this elevator right here, or we'd have to maybe push that elevator up a little higher. Once we do this and put that spout, which actually we could go a little higher there and still hit it with that leg. So yeah, I'll whoops, wrong way. So this would be phase 2. And I think I got my equipment positioned about right. As I measured off the existing building here and off the elevator, this elevator right here, and off the railroad tracks. So I think this building I'm confident I'm positioned right, or about where it needs to be, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty much where where the existing bins are. I think I'm pretty much where they are, and then I just figured this bin exactly the same, just this way, same distance, 6 foot between bin side walls. So yeah, let me know what you think. And I can, in phase 1 here, draw in them small bins. So yeah, We could have the 3 small bins here, or we could put 1 bin in for cracked corn. Well, I'm not sure on the sizes there, but either way, even if we do those small bins right along here, I'm gonna want to raise them up. That way, year or two down the road, you want to put a bigger bin out here. We want to be able to feed that auger in through, so we're gonna want these along the building raised up high enough. So I may end up just doing a drawing where I drop in those bins, those small bins you had mentioned for right there. Put them 3 bins in a row that have the two bins in. Because if they're big enough for what you want for ingredients, yeah, might as well use them. In here, if it was up to me, there's a company I would get the bagging equipment from that makes a bag hopper that sets over the bagger, so you actually like stand under the hopper, where it'd be a hopper that's up in the air about 5 foot in here that would hold a couple ton. And that is what I would do for the bagging, where I would stay over here somewhere, have a spout coming off the elevator to it, and put a bagging line in, where you put just a hopper, gravity feeds a bagger, and then a 12-foot belt, sewing machine hanging on the belt, and set pallets at the end. And we can do that here or there. I'm going to want your feedback whether you want to put the bagging front here or back there, and I will draw that in according to the sizes of those equipment. And yeah, I can draw in them little bins into here yet before I throw any measurements to stuff. But I just wanted to let you know what I'm picturing, and if I'm way off of my design in here or something, let me know. Or if I'm way off on my micro hoppers or something, but my plan is to draw a hopper in here that has a bagger underneath it, which doesn't really matter whether I do it on this side of the mixer or that side of the mixer. The reason I didn't put the mixer over that way farther is this conveyor going out here to the elevator, and the highest part we're gonna have to hit with that elevator probably is loadouts. So that's why I kept the elevator right here, and that keeps it real close to, that way both elevators are against each other. We can have our roller mill setting under the roof, rolling out of that bin. So you kind of get my thinking here, but I'm almost thinking this bag hand ad stuff needs to be moved over here. But let me know whether you want that here on the east or if I should move it to the west, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I'll do a little more drawing and get some numbers together.